Good morning. I'm downtown Logan Brown,
And I'm Braydon.
and this is the Pickleball Effect Podcast.
So this week we have 4 different segments. We're going to start off with a new segment we're calling Forum Questions. So these are hot topics that have been floating around the internet, getting a lot of discussion. We're going to share our opinions there. Then we're going to do our 3-0 to 5-0 segment, go to Paddle Babble, and then finish with Joe's Talking Pros.
Let's get started. All right, Braydon, what's going around the forums, man? Tell me, what are people talking about?
Yeah, dude, there's always a bunch of random questions that come up, but there's always some fun ones. And so one of them was about tournament warm-up etiquette. So someone asked, what is the proper etiquette? Is there a proper etiquette when you're warming up for a tournament? I guess some people warm up with their partners. Some people like to warm up against the people they're going to play to try to kind of feel them out.
Right.
I was every term I've ever done, I've always warmed up with my partner. And so this idea of warming up with the other team, like I didn't even know that was a thing. I've never seen it, but apparently some people do it. Like I'm of the mind that I don't know if this is like the proper etiquette or if there even is like a proper warm up etiquette, but like I wouldn't want to warm up with the other team for that reason of them like feeling me out. Yeah, I guess there's some give and take there, but I'd rather not have that there. And then plus when you're warming up with your partner, typically you'll have like, a side you're going to play on, like one player's going to play on the right, and the other player's going to play on the left. And when you line up on the court and you're facing each other, you can be in the right spots. So like I might be on the right side, and if my partner's across from me, then they're going to be on the left side. So you're in the positions that you're going to play in on the court. You can get some touches there as you're warming up. But I thought it was it was a kind of a foreign idea to me to like try and warm up with the opposing team. What do you do? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of an interesting question too, because I play so much rec that we always, even if we have like a partner we're playing with, we almost always go out to the court, and my partner and I will be on the same side, and we just warm up against our opponents. And since I don't play many tournaments, and even like in the league, we will warm up with our partner, but I wasn't sure like in a tournament style, like when you walk out there, is it awkward? Do these folks like expect to be trying to hit with you, or they're just going to hit with their partner?
Yeah,
And
I don't
yeah,
think anyone's even tried to hit with me either. And so I don't even think it's a thing like that people, maybe if I know them, right? Like if we're both local teams, I might hit with somebody on the other team if I'm waiting for my partner or something.
yeah.
But no, I think that's kind of funny. I think proper etiquette should be warming up with your own partner. That just makes sense to me. The other way, yeah, I mean, like in rec, like you said, right? Like that makes sense. Okay, like you're all friends. You're switching up partners anyways. I don't care who I'm warming up with. I just want to warm up with somebody.
Well, listen, maybe the folks like you that are at 5-0 know how to do this. So for anyone listening who is concerned, you can warm up with your partner and have no beef with the other team. You're good.
I don't know. I guess you could do it the other way, but I think it's kind of weird. The other thing floating around on the forums I thought was interesting was there was some talk around a card, like a memorabilia, not a memorabilia. What do you call cards? A collectible
Trading
card,
card.
yeah, trading card. So this company called NetPro. They make tennis cards. They're like supposedly, the real deal with tennis stuff. They did like some rookie cards around Carlos Alcaraz or for
Yeah.
Carlos that are now selling for like between $2,500 and $8,000 on eBay. And they're making one for Anna-Leigh. So the debate on the forums for these cards was these they're doing like a set of 100 that have a piece of Anna-Leigh's clothing that she's worn in a match as like part of the card. And some people thought this was kind of weird. And anyways, did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'll take a piece of the visor, please, for 500.
Yeah, the
No,
visor maybe not be so
so
awkward if
easy
you
to
think
pick
about it.
apart.
Yeah, easy to pick up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. I think what you're alluding to is that people are a little weirded out that I'm going to get a piece of Anna-Leigh's clothing. But yeah, I mean, this is super normal across the sports world, right? If you switch the name out and you tell people that they're going to get a card signed by LeBron and it's got LeBron's piece of his jersey or something, they're going to freak out, and it's like totally normal. I think it just might be the player and the fact that it's like, one of her Fila shirts is going to be on my card or what?
Yeah, it's not like a jersey, right? Like, so, basketball, like if it's LeBron's jersey, like it has, that has like more of a meaning behind it to me than like a random, you know, piece of clothing that Anna-Leigh wore. And so
Yeah.
that doesn't, like, it makes a little more sense to be a jersey. And I'm sure you looked it up too, because I looked it up. I don't really know much about kind of the sports trading cards world, but I guess this is like a thing where you put. It's not uncommon to make cards like this where you have a piece of clothing of the player on there. They're called jersey cards or patch cards. I guess a card can be more valuable if it has like a piece of the number or their name or the team's logo on the card. And there's usually like a limited edition or a limited number. So it makes them more valuable, and it's just kind of a way to differentiate some cards over others. So the idea of it is normal, and I guess it's kind of cool. I think that like the idea of it, but the fact that it's not like a jersey is kind of odd to me. Maybe if they do like MLP jersey versions, but anyways, they're making this rookie card for Anna-Leigh. They're going to be available for sale when we publish this on Tuesday, like around 1 p.m. Eastern time or something. So if you want to, you could be on the dot. Go check out NetPro and see if you could pick up a rookie card of Anna-Leigh with a patch of her clothing on it. But it was some kind of comments going either way on these. Ultimately, I don't think it's really that weird, but it doesn't seem as cool to me because it's not like a jersey where it's like, or like there's like a number or something associated or a color like with their team. I don't know. It doesn't seem as interesting to me. Although the idea of it, I don't think is really that weird once you kind of take a step back, look at how cards are made. Like this isn't like an uncommon thing. Plus, she's signing them, so it actually might be kind of a cool collector's piece. I don't know how much they're going to go for. What do you if you were to guess how much they were going to sell these cards for? What would you think?
How many were they going to make? 100? That's all?
Yeah, so they're making like 3 different versions, and I think the cards with her signature and the piece of clothing on there is going to be a set of 100 available. So pretty small number.
All right. Well, I think if Yola can sell a Ben Johns set thing for $1,000, I'd say maybe the max on this is 500, in my opinion.
Yeah, I bet it's in the hundreds. It wouldn't surprise me. And if it was like under 100, I actually might be tempted. But over 100 feels tough to me.
A little too much right now. Would you be more impressed if they were going to like chop up one of her paddles and give you a piece of the
Give me a piece of the paddle? Yes, I'm sold on that.
Yeah.
This has a piece of her core when she won her 18th Triple Crown.
That's right. You like a piece of her broken polymer core?
I get one cell. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
It has the P, the Paddle Tech P on it, of the face.
That could be cool. You get a little piece of the paint. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Well, they can do this in so many different ways. It doesn't just have to be a patch of the clothing. We could look at paddles. We could do a piece of shoes, her lock laces. Put that in there.
Or the glasses. We could get just a piece of the frame.
Oh man, just everything that touches Anna-Leigh while she's playing.
I bet Christian has a lock of her hair on his, right?
Probably. Christian seems odd enough to do something like that.
Yeah.
So that's the ALW card coming out. We'll move on to 3-0 to 5-0. So give us the scenario we're talking about today.
Yeah. So this was a couple weeks ago. The guys, there's somebody online who posted this video about practicing forehand dinks, and I'd gotten involved because of course, in rec play, like we rarely stack. Sometimes when I'm playing with someone I really know, I stack, but we're playing both sides. So forehand dinking is a little bit of my weakness. I'm not as good at it. So I was asking in the comment thread, like, all right, when you're practicing your forehand dinks, how are you determining when you want to go kind of forehand slice, forehand push, forehand topspin? And some of the comments I got back were about like, listen, we suggest just push dink on your forehand when you're on the right-hand side.
Like every time, just predominantly just do a push dink.
Just push dink because your goal is to keep it low, get it back in play, try to set something up for your left side partner to make a move on an attack. But when I was at MLP, of course, my brain, like I'm very analytical. So I'm sitting there front row at MLP and I'm paying attention to like what their strategy is. And I mean, it seemed like every single pro I watched was doing some sort of forehand top spin dink, whether it's a quick flick of the wrist or they're kind of going over the ball really nice and soft and easy.
Yeah.
But they were always putting some sort of spin on the ball, not really pushing. So I wanted your opinion on this. Maybe it depends on level. Maybe you have a fast and hard rule, but I was curious what you think about how to practice and determine what you're going to do with your forehand dink.
Yeah, that's interesting that they would suggest that. I don't think you should default to any sort of, whether there's a push, slice, top spin, you have to kind of deal with what's, presented to you. And also it depends on your skill set, right? Like if you have a forehand top spin dink, I think you should use it because that's going to put a little more pressure on, the person going cross court, which is going to create the opportunities, for the ball to float a little bit and for your partner to step in. Like you always want to have pressure on your opponent as much as you can. And so if you have time to set up for a topspin dink, you're good at it, it's in your arsenal, I say use it. There's nothing wrong with a push dink, but if you can do a topspin dink, like I would go for it. I would go if you don't have one, like go practice a topspin dink, and add that into your game. Push dinks can be a little limiting. Like you can keep it a little lower. You can potentially put a little more speed on it, but it's not going to bounce. It's going to bounce a little higher than something with spin on it, right? Because it's more of a knuckleball than something else. And if you try to do a push dink, maybe you're going to the inside foot of the person, across from you, or like push dinks could get you in trouble there. Like that's only good if you're going cross court and you're kind of doing like a hard angle.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's better to mix it up. And like to your point, like going like the pros will almost always have some sort of English on it, and the topspin dink is getting very, very popular and predominant on that right side. And if you have it, use it. I don't see any problem doing that. I think it's going to create more issues for your opponents. It actually kind of reminds me. So like a couple months ago, I was at a tournament, and I kind of default to like a slice dink on my forehand. At least back then I was, just because it's consistent. I control it well. I could just make less errors with it. But it didn't put a lot of pressure on the other side, and they would occasionally take something off the bounce and get my partner in trouble. And so since then, I've started working on that forehand dink, or that forehand roll, or topspin dink, and it's been good. And I'm using it more. There's definitely chances and opportunities to be more aggressive with your dinks and do something like that. So I don't totally agree with them. I think if you have it, use it. If you don't, then go develop it.
Yeah, it's good. I appreciate that. I was playing some like good 4 or 5 level pickleball on Monday, and I don't typically. I just got invited to this group last minute. They needed a sub, and it was.
You're moving up. You're moving up.
Well, the guy who invited me
you're on the roll. What do you call it? Rolodex. You're on the call list.
I'm in there somewhere. I'm on the call list. But it was good for me. I played at the very end of it. I played with these 3 girls who were all duper 4-5 plus, right? And compete 4-5. And we got into some like really long dinking rallies. And what I realized right away was that I'm getting better to the extent where I can get them back, but they're hitting with a lot more pace. So they're in with their dinks, and I'm not really creating offensive dinks from them at that level. I realized that pretty quick, and I'm not sure if you have any suggestions for how to slow that ball down, like in your head. I don't know if it's more mental because you see it go fast and you almost want to react quicker. Maybe I should just like take a breath when I see it, take a step back. I don't know if I should take a few inches off the kitchen.
Wait, you're saying just handling more aggressive dinking?
Yeah, like I think that like in general, everything they gave to me, I was putting back to them, and I wasn't putting it in a place where they could like speed it up in my face. But I wasn't exactly being aggressive. It was way more neutral.
You felt the pressure, just stayed neutral. Yeah. No,
yeah.
I know the feeling. That's I think when I'm playing, like as you get better, as you move up, you're going to come across people like that, right? It's gonna be more commonplace, and it's part of it's just seeing reps, and you just kind of learn to read their tendencies, what their capabilities, what they can do. like there's one player in Boise in particular that hits really hard angles with their dinking. It's very fast, very low, a lot of topspin on it. And if you're not reading his shot and almost kind of moving to the place where he's going to go beforehand, and you're just reacting to the dink rather than anticipating where it's going to be, then he'll catch you off guard. And so like the more you play, the more I've played him, the more I've kind of learned that I need to move or be in certain positions when he's going to dink, because he's going to go for these hard angles. And so I can be in a better position to receive it and either do something with it or just hit a good neutral dink back. And so a lot of it's just kind of footwork, moving, and just seeing reps. Like over time, the more of those you see, the more you'll get a feel of where you need to be when those shots are available for them. And then you can start cutting them off and potentially doing something with it, or at least, neutralizing it and not letting them, create offense off of it with the pop-up or something that you give them. And so I think it'll just get reps, man. Like the more you play with them, the more you'll see it, and the more you'll kind of learn how to move with it and defend it, and potentially, start to kind of attack what they're giving you.
Yeah, it's good advice. Appreciate it.
3-0 to 5-0. You're better than you think you are. So like I remember when we had done a few of these segments, these 3-0 to 5-0, and people were like making these comments like you'd never played before. But then we met and we did the James Ignatowicz video, and you look good, dude. You're a player. So one of these days we'll get on the same court and you'll be giving me tips, I'm sure. You'll be like, Braydon's just making up crap.
No, listen, I appreciate that, but I would love to get on the court together. I have this cool idea. Not that anyway, I have this cool idea that I'll bring up later for the MLP, and I think that it could bring folks like us together, like on the same team. All
right. We'll get to that then. So next section though is Paddle Babble. So I just dropped the Engage Pursuit Pro review. So this one took me longer to do than normal. So there's 4 paddles in the series, and the series kind of has this identity of being a little more powerful, a little more poppy.
To help us out, we have the MX, the EX, the 6.0.
Yeah, so you have you have an MX and an EX, and then so those are the EX and the MX like tells you what shape it is. The MX is the elongated, the EX is like their shorter standard shape.
Which to me doesn't make any sense. E elongated.
Yeah, E should be elongated. Who are these guys? We're in marketing. They're not. They need to talk. They need to consult. They need to consult us.
Call me up.
And then they have 2 thickness options within their 2 shape options, and then they have like multiple weight options, which is cool. Like I love that they have more options. It's great for the consumer to pick, the weight, the shape, and whatever that fits what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But it makes it difficult to review. So like normally I'm just reviewing one paddle. You can get a really good idea of how that one paddle plays. But this round, like reviewing all 4 paddles at the same time, you have to play more, you have to drill more. And like, although the series has an identity, each one plays a little bit different. And so it just took me longer, and it was a little bit longer review. I did my best to kind of explain how each one is different. But essentially the MX 6.0, which is their elongated, thicker core option, it's just too heavy. Like they've always had this Engage has always had heavy paddles.
16 elongated you thought was too heavy in general.
Yeah. So like I had a lighter one at 7.87 ounces, I think is what it was. And they go up to like 8.5. Like they can get really heavy. So I had one of the lighter ones, and it still had a swing weight of 125, which is like very high. Normally, like there's a lot of paddles kind of at the 122, 123 swing weight number, which definitely starts to feel heavy. So this is like one of their lighter options, and it's over like what a high swing weight number is. And so like if you were to get like an 8.1 or an 8.2 ounce, I would be willing to bet that it's pushing, 130 swing weight. And it's hard to get past that weight. It kind of negates a lot of the positive things about it. So that one I just kind of tossed aside. I was like, I don't think it's worth it unless you're coming from that same paddle before and you don't mind the extra weight. But for the most part, I think most people aren't going to like it. But the other 3 models I thought were super solid. The MX and the EX, which are the thinner core paddles, they hit really hard. So like I hit those side by side. Prokenix Black Ace, which is known for being one of the more powerful paddles out there. And they were definitely on par power-wise. The MX might even hit a little bit harder. And so like they rip. But what's cool, I think kind of the secret sauce to these paddles and what makes them, unique compared to everything else is that they're not thermoformed, yet they're hitting just as hard. And I actually think they hit harder than thermoform paddles. Like if I were to take the EX 6.0 and hit it against like a Vatic Pro Flash, I think the Engage hits harder. So you don't have to deal with delamination and those things, which is a bonus. But the paddles feel softer, and they don't have that stiff feel that's associated with thermoform paddles. So that's I feel like that's kind of their secret sauce, where it's pretty much the only paddle. I think it actually is the only paddle on the market with the 16 millimeter that's not thermoformed that hits just as hard or harder than thermoform paddles. And so they kind of have that claim here that's unique to them. And I think a lot of people are going to prefer the feel of these over thermoform paddles. And so they have that going for them. But they are hard to control, man. Like they are just very bouncy off the face. And like taking pace off the ball in the midcourt is more difficult. And so there's definitely an adjustment period. I think if you don't have a decent soft game, I don't think these are going to do any favors for you. So that they're kind of reserved, I think, for higher level, intermediate to higher level players who have a developed soft game but want that extra power. But they're just bouncy, which makes it tough. Like a thermoform paddle, I don't describe as bouncy off the face, but like when you want to add more power, like it's available. So I think thermos,
like poppy, is that what you would say?
Yeah,
Isn't
like poppy.
What people say is like,
poppy, bouncy. Yeah. And so like off counters, like these kind of short swings, I think an EX or like a gauge, the Pursuit's going to give you more on counters than like a thermoform is. They're just, I don't know, if you went and hit them right now next to like a thermo, you'd see what I'm saying when I use the word like bouncy. Like it's just kind of jumpy off the face. Doesn't seem to kind of sit there as long. And so that's kind of the crux of those. Like it takes time. I never really like dialed them in 100% on the control side. But they do have a very pleasant feel to them. That's nice. And if I were to spend more time with this and make this my paddle, like I'm sure I could dial it in. But switching between them all during the review, I didn't quite dial one in over the other, but and then I kind of had some interesting findings around launch angles. So go watch my review. It'll kind of give you the details on my thoughts on the launch angle that we talked about last time. But there's kind of the short and sweet of those. I think they're good paddles. I think a lot of people are going to like them, but they're not for everyone. I don't think it's like the end all be all paddle. It's still,
I gotta ask you a question about these. Well, like you brought it up in this paddle, but I know that everyone brings this phrase up when they're talking about a new paddle. Mm-hmm. So I heard it with the double black diamonds. I've heard it with who knows what. The carbons, right? It's like this paddle hits really hard. Mm-hmm. And at your level, how much do you think that matters? I know it's a sexy thing to say, and people want the power. But like outside of your drive and the counter, which I could see the counter actually mattering more. If someone hits at me and I counter back and it goes 1.2 times faster than I'm normally hitting, mm-hmm. They have way less reaction time. But is that really worth the squeeze when you lose control?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's two scenarios where this extra power or pop comes in handy, especially at like the pro level or like as you get higher in level. So one, like you mentioned, is the counter. Like if you can hit stronger counters and win more hands battles because of that power, that's great, right? Like you're going to win more points that way. And then the second scenario is just finishing points. So it's a wiffle ball. A lot of balls come back. Like I'm sure you experienced this at like 4 or 5, like balls you think you should have won the point with come back. Even if it's not great, like the ball comes back a lot more than it does as in lower levels. And so the ball comes back a lot more, and the ability to finish points is big. Like if your opponents are at the baseline and they're kind of in scramble mode, the ability to just crank it past them and finish the point is big. Like I think that the power pays dividends in those moments. It's less so on drives and serves. Like if you can hit a big drive and serve, you could probably do it with pretty much any paddle just because you're putting a big swing on it. But you can't. It's really hard to finish points sometimes. And so like at the pro level, the majority of them are using power paddles now, where that wasn't always the case. For a long time, it was mostly control paddles. And so if you go look at all the Engage Pros, the majority of them are using the Pursuit Pro or MX, which is their elongated thinner, and that's the most powerful of the 4 models. And so they're all just trying to get a little more power. And
I
so
saw Yates Johnson in MLP, by the way. He has his I guess MX, like you're saying, and he was re-gripping it. He had torn off every bit of the original grip. He had that thing down to the bone.
Oh, really?
He was just putting like a little tape on top of like the, I don't know, whatever you call it.
He like took off the grip and then was just putting one layer of overgrip, or you're just saying
he took off like the whole grip and he just had like the bone stock.
Yeah.
Whatever the plastic down there. That's what he was playing off of.
Yeah, I've actually seen a lot of people do that.
Board.
It's kind of funny. It's it definitely takes away like the squish. It's not as comfortable. But grips are actually pretty heavy. Like if you take a grip off and just put an overgrip on there, or even 2 overgrips, like it's quite a bit lighter, which is I don't know if that's the reason they do it. I've done it before just because the grip is too big, like the circumference of the handle is too big. So I'll take the grip off and use an overgrip because it's thinner. That's the only reason I've done it. But I don't know, maybe they just think it's more comfortable that way. You could probably fill the grooves of the shape of the handle with just an overgrip on there. I don't know if that's a thing for them, but no, yeah, people do that. I'm not exactly sure why, but those are a couple reasons maybe.
Nice. Well, let's move on to Gearbox for a second. I know you don't have maybe a ton to tell, but it sounds like the rumor mill around town is claiming these guys are the real deal.
Yeah, there's several people online that have come out and said it's a really good paddle, and I haven't hit mine yet. Still, like I've hit them against the wall for a second, but I haven't.
You held them in your hand. You've got them on your desk. They're there.
Yeah,
you're sleeping with them. They're fine.
Yeah, it was actually rainy this weekend. I was hoping, like, I finally finished the Engage Pursuit series, and I wanted to play with those this weekend, but it was rainy Saturday, and I was busy anyways on Saturday, and then it was rainy again on Sunday. But maybe this week I'm going to start hitting those. I'm going to start hitting those as much as I can. So those come out October 10th. But yeah, a lot of praise from a lot of different people coming for this one, and I don't know. We'll see how it does. So I ran the numbers on them. Like I looked at like the swing weight and twist weights, and kind of one of the things with Gearbox paddles of the past that has been an issue is like the twist weight number has always been super low, and they're just not as forgiving. And you can tell if you've ever played with a Gearbox that it's just not as stable as like your standard, like polymer core paddle. And the twist weight numbers are super low again. Like they didn't change. And so I'm curious to see if they're going to be more forgiving somehow still. I mean, the twist weight isn't always, a direct correlation with how big the sweet spot is, but usually gives you a pretty good idea. And these are like really low twist weight numbers, like their past models have been. And so I'm curious if that's still going to be an issue. But yeah, those are getting a lot of chatter. And so those are going to be released October 10th. I'm going to try to have something up by October 10th. And we'll go from there. But yeah, those have been a hot topic. A lot of discussion around how good those are. And
all right, your homework's to have something ready for us by next podcast episode next Tuesday.
All right, yeah. See, I'll give you the quick and dirty.
Sweet.
But yeah, dude, that's our paddle babble for the week. So you were playing with the bread and butter filth. Are you still playing with that? Because I remember you were saying it was kind of on its last leg.
No, that one's doing well. I like it.
It's still doing good. Okay.
No, my Carbon 1X, I was like a Carbon diehard for a year, and I went to the 1X, and I just felt like I remember specifically going out with some good guys, a good group of guys, and they were like, "What are you hitting right now?" I mean, I was like, I was making them. I was actually making really good shots, and I was like hitting overheads that were like blasting past them, and they're like, "Okay,
Who are you?"
But at the net, I mean, like as soon as somebody hit me a good ball that I had to reset, the ball was just like, just kind of flew off the face, and so yeah, I moved over to the bread and butter filth, and it's like you said, like once you play with a paddle and you dial it in, like I feel like I've got it pretty well dialed in.
Nice, dude. Well, and like that's actually a pretty interesting point. So like I was mentioning earlier how like the higher you go, a lot of people or at least at the pro level, they start to go for like power paddles. But like, I don't think power paddles are best for the majority of players. I think kind of that control all court area is better. Like the Pursuit Pros, although I think they're really nice, I don't think I'm going to stick with it just because it's a little too poppy for me. Like, yeah, it's nice to be able to hit it harder, but in general, I think I make less errors with something a little softer, a little easier to control, especially with how I'm switching paddles so often. Like I can't just go pick up an Engage Pursuit Pro and just be super solid with it. But I think for the vast majority of players, something in that all court to control range is going to pay more dividends than power, especially at like that kind of like 3-5 level. For some reason, I see like when I go to an open court, I cannot believe like how many power airs I see in people's hands that can't hit a drop. And like that is like the worst possible paddle they could be playing with. It's not forgiving. It's difficult to control. Feels like cardboard. It's great in the hands of Catherine Parento. It's great in the hands of Susanna Barr, but it is not good for that level of play. Like you're going to benefit from being more consistent and keeping balls down with something that's easier to control than, you know, the one chance you get to put a ball away with your power air. And so I think Selkirk's good at marketing, and people think, oh, $250 has got to be a good paddle. And,
some of the best players in town who play Selkirk don't even play the power. I mean, the best players here in town, don't play the power air. They play the Halo. You know,
yeah, a lot of people still play with the Halo, or the 006 has gotten pretty popular, at least for the Selkirk pros around here. Selkirk sponsors a ton of people. Like they have a pretty well-oiled machine when it comes to kind of sponsoring like amateur level and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of 006s where I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say for anybody who cares about my opinion about this all court paddle discussion.
I care if no one else does.
I don't know who's taking advice from me, but I would say that because I came from a tennis background, I'll meld this whole conversation together. You brought up a good point about having a really powerful paddle to put balls away. At the level I play at, because in tennis, I remember my coach used to make me stand at the service line. Not the service line, but the now I don't play tennis anymore. I'm losing it, but the line of which you have to get the serve in, service box line. Sorry, whatever you call that, the service box line. I just stand there.
Did you play tennis, Logan?
I did. Yeah, I just don't know the name of the court lines.
I'm questioning you.
You should question it now. I used to have to stand there, and I used to have to like hit serve. So I toss a ball, hit a serve. My goal was to land it in the service box across the net, and I had to get the ball over the fence.
Sheesh, so that's a kick serve.
Well, I mean, so we were working on like snapping my wrist. Like that was what I did. I used to hit 100 balls like that. So anyway, at my level, I feel pretty good about my overhead. If I get a good overhead, I can snap my wrist over.
Okay.
And it's not going to go more than one or two people, like someone putting it back. So I'm way more, it behooves me to have something that I can control at the net. When someone hits a good shot at me, I can put my paddle out there and let the paddle do the work in resetting the point.
Yeah.
Because I'm also not even like trying to hand battle people too much, because again, at my level, it's better for me to just put it back in the kitchen and I can out dink them or something. I'll make them make a mistake or try my best, but I'm better off just like putting it back on the ground.
Yeah. I think that's smart, and a lot of people should listen to that, Logan.
Yeah,
but no, you're right. But like, even at like 3.540, if you hit a decent overhead, like even if you don't rip it, the chances of it coming back are a lot lower than at a higher level. And if it does come back, it's probably not going to be like crazy good, and you're just going to get another rip at it until they make a mistake. And so the power just isn't as necessary to finish points as it is when people are getting more ball back and they're getting it back well.
Yeah.
And or if you're down to Logan Brown and can just rip the shot out of it, it doesn't matter what paddle you play with. Just put something in his hands and he'll snap it.
Only when, I can still laugh at that idea that I had to hit the ball over the fence. But yeah, that's what we worked on. So I don't know how hard I really hit it, but I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting about pickleball, right? Like in tennis, where you can finish points like that, like when you have a clear overhead, like it's just not going to come back. But like in pickleball, it comes back. Like it makes for these kind of really exciting rallies, and it's like we see some of the most bizarre highlights at the pro level, right? Where they have like 4 or 5 overheads, or they're just ripping the crap out of it, and it just plops back into the kitchen. like
Well, there's
three,
so many
four
times
times in
like
a row.
in the MLP where I saw like, I know it's way easier said than done, but they hit it hard, but what they do is they hit it too shallow in the court. So like the ball's
So
only
they
going to
have
go
time to
so
set up.
far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
You
like
know,
spike it. Yeah.
it's better to hit like it seems like it's better to hit a flatter overhead that goes deep and kind of
Rather than,
skids off the ground, because then there really isn't a good opportunity to put it back. But
yeah, that
hard
and
to do.
angles, like if you can find a good angle, you see that a lot where they're, taking more chances with the angle, but then there's, you're taking more risk.
Yeah, but you'll see the good tennis players, the former tennis players, do that too, because a lot of kick serves. You take your inside your thumb here on a kick serve. You would you pronate your hand out on a kick serve. So watch a pro pickleball player that played tennis. If they get that overhead, sometimes they'll pronate out and hit that ball towards the right side of the court on an angle, because like that's the typical kick serve type of motion.
Probably makes it harder to read because like you're looking for the ball to come flat, and then it's like a DJ Young kind of move almost.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are some big words, Logan. Maybe you did play tennis.
Pronating. I still think it's called the service line, the baseline and the service line. I think I had it right from the get go.
I think I was thinking of it wrong earlier. So you were like in the middle of the court at the top of the service box, hitting those overheads and snapping them. For some reason in my head, I was thinking you were hitting like kick serves, but now you were like
our goal was to hit from you had to serve from the service line, make it into the service box on the other side of the net, but with enough pop to go over the fence. That was the goal.
Was it hard? Is it difficult to do that? Like what percentage of balls?
Hard for me. I wasn't even a starter on my high school team, so yeah, it was hard. But for like a good tennis player, they could do that. Yeah.
I played tennis in high school, but not like for realsies. It was more like just because no one played tennis at our high school and I could just walk on and play. And our coach, the only advice he ever gave us was swing low to high. Like, I don't think the guy knew what he was doing. And
it's about right.
I took like one tennis lesson and that was it. I never got really any coaching in my tennis career.
We had some really good I mean, from being from Southern Virginia, we had some really good players.
Sounds like you were doing drills and stuff at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is like a side coach, not even like my high school coach. This is like doing private lessons coach.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, our team was good. I didn't start. So
did you get to the starting position before you left high school?
No, I only played junior and senior year, so no.
So that's actually pretty cool. So you started your junior year. You never picked up tennis before, just started?
No, yeah, exactly. I just
good for you.
Well, I mean, I guess sophomore year or something, I decided to pick up a racket and go to tryouts and realized the team was way too good for me to make it. Didn't make it, and I was like, I'm determined to make this team. I like worked my ass off for the next year, and
oh, dude, good for you.
Yeah, but I still didn't.
My high school's the total opposite, dude. They're like begging people to come join. So there's like 5 or 6 of me and my buddies that just signed up just because we could.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah,
I played with this kid. He was a phenomenal hockey player. We were the second men's doubles, I guess. We want to be another mix or anything. Anyways, we were the second team. We made it to state. We were the only team to make it to state. I was real proud. We kind of cheated. Like normally you put like your best teams as like the 1-2 spots, right? But our coach was like trying to stack the odds in our favor.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Some people call it cheating, but it's a real thing. Yeah, it happens.
So we weren't that good, but we were proud of it. Then we went to state and just got smoked in the first round to people who actually play tennis.
Yeah, our team made it to state twice and lost.
So last segment, Joe's talking pros.
Let's do it. All right, so let's talk first about PPA coming up. It's probably the most fun stuff going on. So PPA Vegas starting up on Thursday, so October 4th. We've been off for like 3 weeks from PPA. We just got back from MLP Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time too. I think we're all back, and everybody, I guess, is somewhat like cool with the merger, right? So we'll have MLP and PPA
there's been
players.
Surprisingly not much chatter about it since. Like it's just like they merged and then it was just over. Everyone's like, okay. I guess
I told you I saw like
now.
all the major heads of the league at Atlanta, right?
No, you didn't. They were all just drinking together.
No, 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 they weren't drinking together. But I saw like, these things are small. Like it's all still a small community. So I walked in to like go to the bathroom, and there's Connor Pardo just like sitting
Just
down at
pissing
a
next to you.
table. No, 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 not in the
Wait,
bathroom. But he was
wait,
like,
you,
I was
you
like,
said you walked into the bathroom and
no, I'm
he's.
walking to go to the bathroom. You have to go in the
Oh, okay. You
facility,
made it
like
sound like he was in the bathroom at a table, like Dwight Schrute or
on his
something.
laptop. Yeah. Hello.
Don't mind me. This is just the office space we had available.
Right. Yeah, he was in there, and I never saw him outside, actually watching. I don't know if he was just meeting with pros or whoever. But then,
Just
like,
doing
Steve,
deals.
probably so, and like Steve Kuhn and Brooks Wiley were up there in the owners section hanging out.
Who's Brooks? I don't know that name.
That's the commissioner.
For MLP.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that
And
even
so
mean? Commissioner. Like, what do they do?
I don't know. I mean, so I think I don't know. I'm gonna sound stupid, but like the commissioner of the NBA, there's a commissioner. I mean, there's a commissioner of all these major leagues. I should probably Google their
Yeah, the
job title.
commissioner of the NBA. He's the is that the like silver, the tall bald guy that like does the NBA drafts and
Yeah,
stuff. Okay, so they kind of like set the rules. They like talk to the players, work the. I don't know. It seems like a big deal.
yeah. I kind of always chalked it up as like the COO. Like you're the operations guy. You're also making sure that you're the liaison between contracts and players, and
Yeah, kind of the
you know,
voice. Well, like they're like talking to the media and stuff, right? At least that's how the
I think
NBA
he is
is.
that for the NBA. I don't know if you see the same thing for the NFL, but yeah, I don't know. I always thought about like operations and decisions and rules and like so when Major League Pickleball decides they're going to put a new ball into play, like that would be his decision, and like he has to control the
So he's
media
the one
around that. And
making the call on all these rule scoring changes.
maybe, yeah, probably, yeah, maybe. Um. So anyway, where were we? Oh, I was just saying that I saw the major heads there. So all I'm saying is that I guarantee they were at dinner talking, trying to figure this out. And I think the players are kind of silent right now because I'm not sure there's any news to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they probably don't have a ton of information yet. But yeah, it's been quiet. Like there hasn't been any like drama. I feel like there's been so much drama that like always something to talk about. And this week it's been a little quieter, so a little different. But yeah, dude, give us the preview of PPA Vegas this week.
Yeah. So I mean, the normal folks are back, right? We got the Johns brothers, we got Anna-Leigh and Ben, we got Anna-Leigh and Catherine. I think that some cool matchups that I pulled out of the brackets so far: James Ignatowicz and Matt Wright coming together, which is a new one for me. I don't know if they were played in the past. I haven't watched pickleball previous to 2022, so I'm not sure if they've ever played before. But
Oh well, James wasn't around then, so
yeah, I guess you're right.
I
Okay.
don't think they've ever played together. But yeah, that's a fascinating matchup. We were talking about this a little bit ago, and I didn't realize this, but you were saying that Tyson was like hinting that he and James were going to split up, kind of
Well,
more
James had mentioned it in his
permanently.
podcast a couple times, actually.
Okay, so this is like not it's not taking anyone by surprise, but that is a really interesting matchup. Like I think they'll be good. They'll probably put James on the right. At least that's what he was doing with Tyson, and they had some success there. It's actually kind of interesting to see James. Like it sounds like they've been in the works for a bit, but they've been having success recently. Like some thirds, some fourths, which for Tyson and James, I think are great results. Like I don't know if they'll do any better than that going with someone else. So it's kind of funny they're splitting up. But James and Matt is a pretty interesting matchup. But then that leaves Tyson up for somebody. Who's he playing with?
Yeah, Hayden Petroquin, which, by the way, one of the only pros that I spoke to last weekend that was just like super chill about like me just walking up to him.
Oh, cool.
And he was just like very responsive and a nice guy, by the way, for whatever it's worth. But I think him and Tyson together would be interesting because they're very fiery.
He the one? You're taller than him? You're not taller than many
taller
people.
than him. Yeah, I'm not taller than many people. I think I'm taller than him. Yeah.
So is that why you didn't feel intimidated walking up to Hayden?
No, I just I didn't really walk up to him, but he happened to be walking like out of a court, and I was walking the past, and I said, "Yo, what's up, Hayden?" And he just like walked up next to me and just started talking, and he was like, Yeah, I was like, oh man, like tough loss today. He's like, no worries, dude. It's cool. He's like, it sucks though. I had like a migraine, was throwing up, so they won't let me play. I
So
was like, oh
well, yeah,
damn.
that's cool. He stopped and chatted for a sec. Probably
Yeah,
just came out of Pardo's office in the bathroom.
that's right. Yeah, he just had a meeting. He's signing over his life. Yeah, but
How do you think? Do you think they'll do well? That's in it. Like Hayden's on the rise, but I would take James over Hayden. Would you?
maybe I'm to be honest, I don't like. I would love to be like a GM of a Major League Pickleball team, but I don't know how good I'd be because I have a hard time visualizing how they're going to pair up with each other.
Yeah, that's always tough, right?
Like they're fiery. They're both really fiery. And who's going to be like the voice of reason in the relationship?
Yeah, you got to default to Tyson, right? Just because more experience, probably knows who they're playing a little better.
And I also can't remember who plays. Like you got to imagine Tyson's going to play the left, but I don't know if Hayden typically plays the left in other matchups.
Left. Yeah, now that you mentioned it, like I'm not sure. My like gut says he's prefers left side, but he's got great hands, which would make him a great right sider.
So that'd be interesting.
He's got a nice forehand roll, like we were talking about on the dink. So no, we'll see what they do. And Tyson's been playing left a lot, so I'd imagine that's how they set up. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with them. That's fun. This is a cool one for folks who just want to watch like a new duo. So Zane Navratil, who just won, of course, MLP Atlanta. He's playing with this guy that I picked up on out of James's recent podcast with Greg Dow. This guy's name is Jericho Grolman. And
Jericho Grolman.
I might be saying this incorrectly. James was babbling on about like some folks that he played high school with in high school, or he played tennis with in high school. And I think Jericho is one of these names. And he's been playing pickleball with James down in Florida. And I think this is the guy that Zane's playing with. So he's kind of like up on the rise. I have no idea if he's played in other tournaments. Don't even know how you get hooked up with Zane, but this should be an interesting one.
All right, we'll pay attention to that one.
Yep. Jill Braverman and Hurricane Tower Black teaming up, which I don't think they've done before.
I feel like that is a good pickup for Jill. Like Hurricane's been playing really well lately. We'll see how they do. I wonder, some of these matchups, like this one kind of surprises me. Like I would feel like Tyra has been starting to getting like more high quality partnerships, and this one almost feels like a little bit of a step back. Like Jill's a great player, but like I wonder if these partnerships have been like they signed up for this like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah, probably so. Like probably pre-draft maybe, but like who would you pick for her? Because like her teammate, I think, is Mary, right? Brasha, not chosen by choice, but like
in MLP. Yeah.
And I don't think they even got to play with each other because she was sick.
Yeah.
But do you have someone out there that you think floats around a bit enough that you think would be a better partner?
I mean, not a name like comes to mind immediately, but like when you get outside of the top, 2-3 partnerships, like there's quite a bit of mix up going around of like, people trying different partners.
Yeah.
And I would think she's kind of high on that list and could get some pretty quality players, and she has, and I imagine she'll get more in the future. And I wonder if this was one of those pickups where like they signed up a long time ago. And at the time, like maybe it made sense, but a lot's changed since then, but they could still do well. Like Jill's a great player. They could make a run.
Yeah. Let's see what happens. But another one I think that might even be better than that. So hold me to it. We'll see what happens. Jade Kawamoto and Irina Terashenko.
Oh, the sisters aren't playing together?
I mean, according to what I saw on the pickleball brackets.
Did you see if what's I only know their last names. It's Jade and what's her sister's name?
Yeah, let me find them.
I wonder if she's playing
Jackie. So Jackie's playing with Rachel Rohrabacher.
Oh, so they're playing with different. They're not playing with each other. That seems kind of odd to me. Like they're so good together.
Yeah. Again, this could have been something they chose
a while ago.
Yeah, or they just want to like. I mean, they're sisters, right? So they probably know each other's games really well. This could be a cool way for them to pick up on nuances their partners bring to the game. They want to bring to their MLP game. Maybe they're just tired of each other. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
also
that'll
was
be
really
some
hard to
fun
keep
stuff
them
to watch.
apart at the tournament. By the
It
way,
is. It is.
one's
The
lefty and one's righty. Yeah, that's all I got.
yeah, they've done a lot of damage together. Like I don't feel like they get enough credit for how good they are
Well, let's see if they can play a part and still
and do
make it to the
well.
middle at some point.
Yeah, that'll be pretty fun actually.
Yeah. All right. So can I finish this off with my idea for the
Yeah, I was
MLP?
gonna say you had this idea you wanted to talk about last time, but we talked for so long last time, so we're doing it today. Let's
All right.
hear your MLP idea.
All right. I'm gonna meld together a couple things. Whoever's a diehard listener will know what we're talking about. I had brought up this thing back then. I said it'd be really cool if someone like me could ever play with someone like you at a tournament, and I really can't right now that I know of, unless we did some sort of minor league pickleball grouping where
Yeah,
you're
or you
cool with
paid
me.
me. That'd
Or I
probably do
paid
it.
you. Yeah, that's right. Well, then what would we do? We'd go like play 5-0 and lose. Like that would just suck. You can't play down.
I lose
Um,
I lose at 5-0 anyway, so yeah, it
so it's
probably wouldn't
cool.
be good for
It
us.
would just be even worse of a loss. Um, but yeah, so I was talking about how like it'd be cool to share court with someone like you, and then I was talking about this combo league that we used to do in tennis. It was a lot of fun. Where like the combo was like a 9-0, right? Which means your dupers would need to be a combined 9.0 at
Mhm.
max, right? So
And
this
whatever combination that be, right? Like it could be 5 and 4, 4 and 4.5, 4.5, just whatever equals 9.
Yep, or less. It can be 8.5. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just can't be above 9. So my idea is to bring that kind of combo league together with minor league pickleball and with major league pickleball teams as sponsors. So right now, you brought it up last podcast. You're kind of like laughing, like there's no chance any of these teams have like a dedicated fan base at this point. Like
Right.
players are bebopping around. No one's really tacking on to a city. So I thought, how cool would it be if there's 24 teams, right? So we have 24 teams.
Mm-hmm.
These teams in minor league pickleball could go to every city, right? And you like create some sort of ambassador or captain of the city, and they're the ones who put the league together. So
Okay.
the league may run in the spring and they may run in the fall. The idea is that you either do a combo league or you stack up by team. You go 5-0 all the way down to 3-0. So you have your men's pairing at 5-0, your women's pairing at 5-0, and you keep
Mm-hmm.
going down the ladder, right? But you're
Right.
all a team. You're all the same team. And maybe you're the Frisco Pandas, right? And so you're the Frisco Pandas. The Frisco Pandas sends you gear. You pay a fee, of course, entry fee, and then maybe that covers your jerseys. But
Yeah.
you get like a hat and you get a jersey, and the whole team goes out and you just play every week. Like you figure your schedules out. You just go play and you put it in Duper, and all of a sudden the Frisco Pandas has a Greenville league and like a Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, team, and they've got teams all around the
Yeah.
country.
So no, I love the idea of this. I think it's great. But why would you go outside of kind of your vicinity, like Chicago Slice? Like, why won't they just stay in Chicago or, wherever?
I just think it's too small minded for how big the sport is right now. I just think
They should go bigger.
like I'm
But
with
but
that,
then you got like, I don't know, like I'm in Idaho. There's not an Idaho team. Maybe you have like, is everybody gunning to whoever can create a league and Boise first just gets it?
well, my idea is that like as many teams you can get in your local area, they all are associated with a major league pickleball team. And you get to choose. Like we want to be a part of the Slice, or like we're all fans of the Bay Area Breakers.
You're saying, okay, so it's not like this is like an MLP play, not necessarily a team play. Like if you set up a league in Boise, you have a Frisco team, you have a Squeeze team. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like Orlando Squeeze would come to Boise and just do
No, not at all.
a Squeeze league.
No. It's like
okay, that makes more sense.
Let's say you're the ambassador of your local area, and like your whole objective is to get 10 players together. I'm making that number up because I didn't do the math, but your goal is to like fill out your ladder. You need a 5-0 team, a 4-0 team, but you just need 2 players for each.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys go back to minor league pickleball, and because you're the ambassador, you say, hey, we want to be a part of the Chicago Slice. We're all Slice fans.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Your entry fee covers your jersey, your pair of shorts, and your hat, and we'll send it to you. And now other teams are going to sign up and they're going to say, great, we want to be part of the Bay Area Breakers.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Then every week during that league period, you'll go out and play these matches against the other teams, and you'll wear your jerseys while you do it.
You get familiar with the names, the logos. I think that's great. Like hook up with like a Lifetime Fitness and just run it through all their facilities rather than maybe picking like a city. I feel like it'd be easier to do it through, something like that. Just make a deal with Lifetime, or like the Pickler is big in Utah. Maybe go, and then they're going to have like 300 locations the next few years.
Yeah,
their indoor play. Yeah, like do something like that. Go set up like all their leagues are MLP leagues. Like it's not a Lifetime Fitness league. It's like what you're saying, and you build the brand and the recognition. That's good. I like that.
And here's what's really cool about it too. Beyond like building the promotional aspect of Major League Pickleball and the teams, the coolest thing about playing USTA leagues as an adult was that for the first time since high school, you had the opportunity to go all the way. And what I mean by that is that like you can win locally.
Mm-hmm.
If you win locally, you go to the state level. If you win at the state level, you go to the regional level, then the national level. You could literally end up playing a team from California and nationals at 4.0 tennis. And you could do the same with this league.
Oh, totally.
Where the Frisco Pandas who live in Idaho, that little group, could end up going to this, like one of the Major League Pickleball events, and they get to play against the best other teams across the country.
I love that, dude. Yeah. I feel like some, like they have like a national tournament that you can qualify for. Like if you play in tournaments where, it's like a qualifier. If you win, you get a golden ticket, then you get to go to nationals.
Yeah, that's the
like that's really the only attempt that someone has made is something like that idea. But I like this better. Like it's like you're representing your state, not yourself, and it's kind of a bigger deal that way. I think that's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, that'd be kind of interesting for me if they ever want to do something like that. And then like for a match, you and I could play together, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
With the combo. Yeah, that'd be fun. That's cool. No, that's a great idea. They I would think if they did hook up with some sort of facility, that could be fairly easy to scale. You try it once at one lifetime, figure out the format, nail down the how things work, and then just expand it to the rest of them.
And you also spread rally scoring out. So if you really are gung-ho about rally scoring, these leagues are rally scoring, and it's a way for people to go out and play it, and they just know that they have to learn rally scoring for.
Yeah. And like this is something an MLP can do that like PPA can't. Like PPA is not going to go set up PPA leagues and anywhere with Lifetime. Like it just doesn't make sense. But this is like, this could be a way for them to make some revenue. Like they'd make, maybe some licensing money or sell, clothes or whatever. Like they could also make some money off this, which would be this could be like the rec side of MLP, because like PPA, you and I can go sign up for a PPA event, play in the amateur level and watch the pros. Like this could be the amateur side of MLP where cause like they have random MLP events. Like I've played in an
minor league pickleball
like event, a minor league pickleball event, but it's not set up like this. And it's not like, it was just like a weekend thing. It was just like a tournament, but I like the idea of the league because that's how they're going to have it set up. Like it's going to be a league, and that's cool. Like leagues are happening in all sorts of, indoor facilities all over the state. So
yeah, why not just team up?
Just team up, make MLP leagues.
That's the idea.
That's good. That's good. We're going to send this recording to Steve. We'll be like, we will let you watch this if you agree to be on our next pod. What would you ask Steve Kuhn if he's on here? On the spot. This is a tough question.
Well, I would definitely ask him what's happening next year. Like, what's next? Like, so much has changed. Yeah,
the format's going to be fascinating, especially if, I don't know, it'd be fun to hear his vision for the future of MLP, because a lot of people have hinted at like he has some grand vision for it, and it'd be fun for him to kind of come out publicly and share that with everyone.
But now with this PPA merger, I'm sure it's going to have to change a bit.
Right. PPA is going to might do something different. I don't know. I'm still surprised they got back together. I felt like MLP had the cards.
Dude, this feels like one of those really bad, like a Brittany and Justin relationship. I think, I wouldn't put it past them if they break up again. So you heard it here first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go, man. We finished that episode. I never know how to finish these things. What do we say at the end?
But no, I don't know. Thanks for being here, folks. That's
all.
Like
that's for a joke, right?
It was a joke. This is a joke.
This is a joke. Our pod is a joke. Ouch. One big joke. Thank you, Logan.
All right, that one's stung.
Well, that's it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week.
Later.